Hi everyone, whoever done in this interview, this conversation, you're gonna get massive amount of things out of this conversation. I tell you why, because we got an expert from our community, a leadership coach who's also certified the ICS certified coach, and she basically transforming people's lives, leaders, and helping executives to be the better version of themselves. We're also gonna talk about the two main things. One is about a tech, how tech is really helping, how much we should embrace tech in the coaches' lives, and especially when you have professional coaching business. Second thing is about the customer experience. We all try to make ourselves better, our customers, better,
Absolutely.
and how we can make them their lives better through our conversation engagement as a coachee coach relationships goes by. So how are we going to basically do those things? So those are the things we'll be talking about in this conversation today with Marvita, and she's very experienced. So I want to basically talk about a little bit about you, Marvita, if that is okay. Your background,
Sure.
how you end up in coaching space, and yeah, your a little bit of about your business as well, if that is all right.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. First, thank you for having me. Very excited to do this. I was very excited when Danya asked. I love working with Delenta. So I think it supports everything that I'm trying to do in very professional ways. And that's exciting for me. So I've been coaching since about 2005. And I originally started coaching, working with Army recruiters in the space of mental
Wow.
toughness and resilience, because I'm also certified as a resilience trainer. And so I spent a lot of time just doing adult learning facilitation as well as, hosting courses for them in person. But then the one-on-one coaching for on the street recruiters, as well as recruiting company commanders and a few other, senior leader recruiters in that process as well. So fell in love with coaching by
Wow.
working for the Army. I'm retired Air Force, but I fell in love with coaching by doing work as a civilian for the Army. And so fast forward many years later, when I went to work for the University of South Carolina, we wanted to
Right.
do some work with leaders who were serving in the space of building capacity for children and families in South Carolina. And there came another opportunity. And I was introduced to CliftonStrengths at that point, fell in love with it as a tool. So got
Right.
certified as a coach there. Years, fast forward a couple of years more, and the organization Coaching for Everyone, who has a mission of certifying BIPOC coaches around the world, offered the opportunity to get trained through the Coactive Training Institute. So I'm certified as a
Mm-hmm.
coach as well, certified professional coactive coach. And
Wow.
yeah, so it's been an exciting journey, starting off with little or no training as a coach,
Right.
getting training, getting certified. So right now I serve in a space of executive leadership coaching for people who just want to build their capacity. And I'm really locked in on
Mm-hmm.
helping leaders reveal the talent they already possess and helping them to realign, by these small shifts that help them
Right.
sort of realign their leadership trajectory.
Wow.
Yeah.
Such impactful service that you offer, Marita.
Thank
Like,
you.
so going from your sort of a natural gravitas towards this coaching, and where you get kicked out of what you do in life kind of thing,
I
right? Like,
do.
so you
I
so
do.
from that to, like, proper certified, I can see, like, so many, certifications that you achieve, like you mentioned about the training that you went through and all that. So how's that process look like? Do you recommend anyone who's watching this, listening to this conversation, to take those steps that what you're taking, like more sort of getting accredited, getting certified,
Hmm.
getting
Hmm.
getting those hours and working with those individual that enjoy working with?
Right.
So would you mind give us a little bit of brief about that journey as well, please, if you don't mind?
Yeah, certainly. And so the short answer is yes. I think every coach ought to be certified. If you're going to hang out a shingle that says I'm a coach, you should be trained and certified by accredited organizations who align with those competencies and the ethical codes that
Right.
govern what we're trying to do as coaches. When I started coaching with the Army, initially we just had the book, Proactive Coaching, from the Coactive Training Institute. You know, and I'll be honest, when we first started, many of us, because we had been military leaders in some shape, form, or fashion, sort of asked ourselves, why do we need a book? We know how to coach. We
You're
didn't, but
natural, you know.
right? You think I'm a natural at this. Why do I need a book? And
Yeah,
so I'm not sure we paid as much attention to the book in that
yeah.
season. But
Mm-hmm.
again, fast forward to this season where Coaching for Everyone as an organization made this possible. What I learned once I started receiving training from the Coactive Training Institute was I may not have known what I was doing, right?
Right.
My sort of natural propensity to lean into learning facilitation, right, with
Mm-hmm.
people, I think it certainly helped me in a lot of ways, but that's not coaching. And that was really the distinction I think that Coactive taught me, was that
Right.
training isn't coaching. And so I certainly think, yes, it doesn't matter how great you are at coaching. I would even say counseling or therapy, because I know
Mm.
social workers and therapists who are also coaches, but they are trained as
Mm.
coaches as well. And
Right.
so, as important as it is for people to be trained in these other fields, I think it's important that people be trained by high quality, by organizations to be effective coaches as well. So, yeah, so I think it matters and I think it's important.
Absolutely. And when we look at our community, like I think a majority, 99% of the coaches that we work with, they are certified. And
Mm-hmm.
in fact, I remember when we started Delenta, we started with a social, as a social experiment for people to
Mm-hmm.
share knowledge for free with others. And there was
Right.
no sort of a governance around that model. And there was no sort of, how you're going to certify all that. And when we came across coaching, it's like, wow, this is exactly the philosophy that we want to really
Right.
empower, and then these individual who's called coaches. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
certified coaches, even better, like you said, you have this code of ethics and you follow them, and it makes a huge difference. And I'm so glad that certification and accreditations model exists today with
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing. So in terms of as you look at the professionalizing part, so we are almost going to the professionalizing your services, right? So you've got the
Mm-hmm.
accreditation, you've got the certification. Now it's a matter of understanding how you're building your business. So let's talk about that part, right? That with
Okay.
that journey, how much you think that you enjoy, interacting the tech or use tech or technologies
Mm-hmm.
to accomplish that, whatever the objective that you want to accomplish in that space.
So, so let me start by saying when it comes to tech, I tend to be an early adopter. I love it,
Right.
right? And I think that's just connected to the creative in me. So I like playing around with it. I like failing with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And learning from it,
Mm-hmm.
right? I enjoy all of that.
Wow.
So I don't think that I could do what I do as effectively
Mm-hmm.
without the support of technology. Like, there's no way I'd be able to. I don't think I would have the bandwidth, right, to manage
No,
my
absolutely.
client pool.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and if I didn't have tools like Delenta. And so
Mm-hmm.
I used another tool before, was in love with that tool. I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was great. It was timely. It showed up right when I needed it to show up for what I was trying to do. And so now, 2 or 3 years later, I actually found out about Delenta because I'm in the email thread or drip from Choice Magazine, because I
I
subscribe to
see.
Choice Magazine. And so it
Right.
was when Gary dropped the coupon code. And I
Yeah.
said, well, I'll at least do a trial and
Yes.
experiment. And so I played with the 14 days or so, and I was pretty much done after day two of just looking at, because I thought, oh my gosh, because for everything that the other platform did for me
Mhm.
that I loved, never had a
Mhm.
problem with it, Delenta sort of showed me, okay, what I didn't have access to that I actually needed. And I think there's another piece of Delenta that sets it apart from some other coaching platforms, that support coaches, is it's the course piece,
Mhm.
right? So before, I literally had to have the coaching platform and then another platform to manage courses. And I think that's how Delenta got me, right? It's this prospect of I can create coaching packages and I can launch courses and I can put those two together for my clients, right?
Right.
So that piece has just been very exciting for me. You stop me whenever you need to, but I think the other piece is your onboarding process, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just sign up, play around with it, because I was willing to do that, right? Again, I was willing to play with it, fail, go read the tutorial, watch a video, let's try it again, right? I'm
Yeah.
all about that, because that's not wasted time for me. But it was the addition of the onboarding meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and Valerie walked me through. I'd already had a great conversation with Danya, but then
Yeah.
Valerie walked me through just how to set this thing up. And from the landing page, the way it's set up. So I've had a website for years, and landing pages are intimidating to me,
Right.
right?
Right.
Delenta made that easy, right? I can toggle things on, toggle things off, and add what I wanted to. So between things like the landing page, the customized branding, right, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to do that so that it integrates into my website seamlessly, those kinds of things. Again, for me as a coach, the space I'm operating from is what's the best use of my time,
Right.
right? And
Right.
even though I love playing with tech, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
best use of my time, right? And
Absolutely.
so what I feel like you all have done and your team has done is developed a platform that in many ways is intuitive in terms of what coaches need, right? It's the same
Right.
way I feel about, I'm an Apple products nerd as well, right? What I love about Apple's products is they are intuitive to one
Right.
another. And I feel like Delenta as a platform is very intuitive. The dashboard feature, right? To open up Delenta and be able to see everything in one space. I can move around it if I want to, but I don't necessarily have to, right? So, the fact that my clients have their own private portal, that all their stuff and it's confidential, and they can they can look at all their stuff, and I can drop things in specific to them. Before we got on the call, I was telling Danya the that email setup you guys have where all the
Right.
emails are already beautifully written, but you still give me space to add 5 words. I can add
Right.
5 words if I want to, right?
Exactly.
but I don't have to, come up with that. And because I've
Mm.
dropped these other pieces, associated with my branding in there already, everything just, man, it just, yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you one more thing, Sam.
Sure.
So this past
Please
week I
carry on.
found this. No, let me just tell you about this feature that I found this week. So in my other platform, I would have to create packages for everything. Create a
Mhm.
package if we wanted to chat. Create a package
Mhm.
for a chemistry meeting. Create a,
Mhm.
so I needed all these. And if I was working with different organizations, I
Mhm.
would create a package, put their branding in that package,
Mhm.
right? And do it
Mhm.
that way. So this week, I figured out the engagement feature
All right.
where, because I had already created the packages, and then
Yeah.
I was like, Marv, what's this? And so I figured out, wait, because I also serve as an affiliate coach for some
Mhm.
organizations, right? And so for
Sure.
those organizations, I don't need to create packages, pull in their branding, or try to
Right.
avoid them seeing my branding or whatever. It just
Right.
lets me, if an affiliate client needs 10
Right.
coaching sessions, I
Right.
just drop the 10 in and keep moving, right? And I can track what that company pays me
Right.
and keep the client from seeing what that company paid me. Like those pieces, that's what I mean by intuitive, right? And just being able to do things that I really don't want to think about, right? I want to
Right.
coach. I want to
Right.
train. I want to create courses. I don't, even though, I stay up late playing with Delenta, I really don't want to have to. I like
Yeah.
doing it. I don't want to have to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow. Wow. No, thank you very much. We put a lot of, heart into, building the platform, and also
Mm-hmm.
listening to coaches like yourself, users like yourself, who's been such a magnificent part of our journey to improve this. So every little feature that we have developed
Mm-hmm.
is because of a coach,
Yeah.
or customer of their coach, to sort of have a better experience on the platform. So I'm
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
glad that you mentioned those features that we can even name, like, say, this is what Marvita requested, we developed that. This Andreas, this is what we basically developed. So all of that, we can even
Okay.
name those customers. So that's how much we
Right.
we care. And it would be wonderful to sort of talk about a little bit in terms of transition. You said you basically used to have a platform, and you used to organize your
Mm-hmm.
business in some respect. How did the transition work with you, and how did, I mean, some people basically worry about, maybe, oh, how customers would react. I have 20 customers, oh my god, what I'm going to basically do with
Right.
this then. And
Right.
so how did you take that, what is the sort of best approach that you can advise as well others, and what worked for you?
So I do think it's useful to let clients know that you are migrating to a new platform and you're going to, sort of migrate them over and transition them smoothly. I think Delenta helps with that smooth transition. So
Right.
I've got I've had a few clients that I've migrated over, right? And then I've had some that it's my first time working with them. And so I can immediately bring them into the process. And the feedback that I'm getting is, one, they love, that just the emails that remind them. And I had that with the other platform, but they're excited about that. But I also think they love the idea of their own private portal, right? And being able to click a resource tab, and those things that are specific to them are there, as well as anything that might be generalized across the population of clients, right? For me as a coach, I think it's beautiful too, because I can drop things in there for them specific to them.
Right.
I've been excited to see those clients who will respond in the notes, right, in
All
that
right.
notes section.
Right.
That's been pretty
Right.
cool, because sometimes a platform can be noise for a
Right.
client if we're not
Right.
careful, right? And so I really encourage them, download the app, right? Respond inside the portal, play around with it, do all this stuff. And so many of them seem to be taking to that. As I made the transition, I think that piece of from my previous platform, sort of exporting contacts and then exporting coaching sessions. Delenta provides all the instructions to be able to do that. And I think the most challenging piece was in the previous platform, if a client purchased 12 coaching sessions in a
Right.
package,
Right.
when I export them on the coaching log, it groups those 12 together, right, for that one
Right.
client. Well, Delenta tracks those individually. So the heavy lifting for me in the transition was to go in and identify each one of those coaching sessions individually for that client. That was probably the heaviest lifting. And so I leaned in and gave myself, I just said, hey, take a few days, gradually fix this on the CSV, but
Right.
when you're done, you're done. And so once that was uploaded, and I think I do prefer that Delenta tracks those individually. It's a lot
Right.
easier to sort of
Right.
manage. So that
Right.
part has been really good as well. So the experience in migrating over has been really good. And again, you guys make it so easy. Everything is there. I just love the dashboard. I love the ease with which I can create things in Delenta. So I'm excited about just what's possible, I think, as I work with the platform. And I'm not even talking about, that's just with me as an individual coach, right? If there's ever this space where I need to bring in multiple coaches and can
Right.
elevate to upgrade to the next level, gosh, I just think there's just going to be so much that'll be fun to work with.
Oh, you know what? Our roadmap is full of those kind of a very improved,
Mm,
user experience features. So as you stay with us, you see more and more updates. I mean, every 2 weeks we tend to do improvements, updates, get the
Awesome.
feedback, we basically
Mm-hmm.
develop that and
Mm-hmm.
improve it. And in one of the areas that we also want to be very, I mean, at least we'll be conscious and focus about is the experience that your customers are getting, these leaders that you're coaching are getting from you, because you aren't trying to make the better version of themselves. That's what you always have these engagements for, and
Right.
have that.
Right.
And then once you finish the session, once you finish sending a content through a course, or through a resource to them,
Mm-hmm.
so that's again, the experience never finished, right? So they
Right.
they keep that
Right.
experience going, and they connect with your brand, they can live chat with you. So can you give a little bit of flavor on that, Marvita? Like, how you make the life easier, and how important that is, or like if easy of these customers, and how important that is for your business as you grow your business as well.
Yeah, I think that's very important. So I onboarded a client yesterday
Right.
that, okay, so the contract, even the contract piece, right? So, so,
I like the way
once
you
she
say that,
had,
like
yeah, even the contract bit, right? So even like once she signed the contract and, she was able to say, hey, I've taken care of this, I've taken care of this, and still say, I noticed in the contract blank, and could ask some questions, and immediately I could
Right.
respond to that, right? And so I
Right.
do think there's a difference there in terms of sorting through the whole email traffic back and forth. Even though Delenta does send a message saying, hey, a client has sent a message in the portal, go in there or whatever. Again, there's something that feels more streamlined
Right.
about the process and the responsiveness that the client is experiencing as they're going through it. And I would recommend to anybody who plans to use it or trial the platform, create your own create what am I trying to say? So I made myself a sample client
Right.
with another email so I could watch everything my clients would be experiencing.
Sure.
So even if I drop a package in for myself as a sample client, I get to see what are they experiencing at their
Mm-hmm.
end, and how is it working for them? How fast is the system moving, right? And it's
Right.
real time. If I pop it, they get it. And so again, that's just been a good process. And I'm sure there are a lot of platforms out there. Like I said, I worked with one and I thought it was fantastic. And that was the reason I wasn't willing to budge from it until I explored Delenta. And I really felt like, oh, wait, this is worth moving. So, and my clients are experiencing that as well. In fact, there's at least one or two that I brought on board and just said, hey, I need you to talk to me about your user experience
Right.
specifically. So
Right.
the coaching piece we'll take care of. I need you to talk to me about the platform as you navigate it. What are you experiencing? And that's been helpful.
Wow, you're such a. I think in that sense, I can basically say you're also early adapter, but also you're very mature way of thinking about the tech, the way you're thinking about the tech and about the
Mm,
experience, how you experience it, how customers experience, getting the feedback, make sure these things are like, even we
right,
get your feedback from you to improve that end user customer experience.
right,
That's the sort of loop that you want to create, right? Constant, and
right.
you've been absolutely amazing on that front. So
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
very much, Marvita, for that, like,
Thank you.
entire description. And when you look at, again, like going back to your customer experience, because we both quite conscious, I mean, passionate about that part. Like, I'm quite passionate about your experience and your customers experience, and you're absolutely passionate your customers experience. So do you think from example, like from onboarding of a customer through coaching package to, and then experiencing that, for example, they can book a session with you, they can
Hmm.
they can live chat with you, like you said
Yes,
earlier, like when there's a problem with the contract, like, hey, can I ask these questions?
yes.
And is it, do you see this as a way of capitalizing from that relationship that you already have, rather than, for example, oh, my client, absolutely fine on WhatsApp or in my Skype or my my email box or whatever. But now this is more like you systemize this entire process, right? So you can book a
Right.
session with me, you can check my availability
Yes.
with me, you can
Yes.
check my notes, tasks, action point, these are the goals, I can
Mm-hmm.
track you all that. So how's that helping you to make them accountable, and also they feel that they are organized themselves, kind of angle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
is it
Mm-hmm.
really important? I mean, how do you think about that aspects of the experience that they're receiving?
Yeah. So I agree. I think that's very important, right? So just by way of example, so I was working with a client yesterday and we were having a conversation, just about whether or not they found coaching valuable, first off, right? Because this
Right.
was an organizational thing. And that's how I
Right.
got to this particular client. So it was that space of sort of figuring out, like, dude, does this matter to you? Like, is this a space you want me to hold for you? And and initially I really thought, like, no, he doesn't. But I
Hmm.
think, more than anything else, of course, obviously, is the coaching relationship. But as
Right.
I hear coaching clients talk
Right.
and things come up for me that may or may not feel, I don't know, appropriate in the moment to share because of the space we're sitting in.
Right.
But for me then to come back after the session and say, hey, as we were talking, two books came up for me that
Hmm.
I think might be really useful for you. I can drop that in the notes with a link to the books wherever they are, and and kind of go there. And so I had already done that for that client from our first meeting together. When I
Nice.
asked about it, you know he was able to say, he said, you were spot on with the recommendations, right? And because they're sitting in his
Yeah.
portal, he can
Yeah.
go back to them anytime
Ex-
he's ready to go back to them, right? And so that's the system sort of supporting, where again, I don't have to craft a separate email. I was able to drop that note right there, share the note, and then he gets to pull on it, but I also get to go back and follow up to say, hey, did you ever get a chance to take a look at this? Can I offer any more resources that would support you, in this area, especially since you felt like these were relevant? So again, at the end of the day, this really is about the resonance we're creating with our clients, right? And the relationship that we're co-creating for them to develop into the leaders, the people, the parents, the beings, the partners they want to be.
right.
It is, and so it is useful and valuable to have a system that provides the support we need. So when I talk to my clients about working with them, I use this language. I say my job as a coach is to come alongside you, to be a thinking partner, to help you get unstuck.
Wow.
That's how I talk to my clients about coaching them. So watch this. With Delenta, it gets to come alongside me. It gets to be a thinking partner, and it keeps me from getting stuck. Right? I appreciate that. I appreciate
Wonderful.
that.
Oh my God. That
I
that's
appreciate that so
absolutely
much.
such inspiring words from you. I'm going to be able to show this to our team, because that's exactly how we want you to feel and our customers want to feel. And thank you very much for giving that
Mm,
quick line or two, because it basically resonates with us so much. We, as much as our organizations are partnered with each other, and how this technology, how we, whatever you're creating, we partner for you, for your customers, through that journey of self development and improvement, right? So
yes,
that's
yes.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
wow, thank you
I'm
very much,
enjoying
Marvita.
using
Yeah.
it. I really am. So thank you.
You're absolutely welcome, and it's a pleasure. It's absolutely a pleasure when you have when we can have these discussions openly, and then you're helping us to improve this through your feedback, and we actually
Mhm.
feel that we are working together. It doesn't come like we are try to struggle with this technology, isn't it? Like it's not like a
Right.
that the tech I don't want to deal with. Most of the people, I mean, most of the coaches are not tech savvy, and that's where the, like what you said about the simplicity of
Hmm.
the application can really help. So
It
rather than
can.
adding
It really.
so many different things, we look at what is important, what's the workflow that really helpful, and then we basically sort of develop that part in a intuitive
Yeah,
fashion. So you
absolutely.
and your customers can enjoy. Marvita, this has been amazing discussion, and I'm sure who are listening to you, your what you're talking about, hopefully they will get inspired, and they'll look at the tech in a different way. They will look at the customer experience in a different way. Like you said, how tech can be a partner of their journey,
Absolutely.
of their customers'
Hmm.
journey. So this is incredible. And again, Marvita, we're gonna basically mention your details in
Okay.
wherever we're gonna post, so that people can basically connect with you. And probably we will put your Delenta landing page as well, so people can see that
Thank you
what you
so
have done,
much.
and they can connect with you and discuss, continue this dialogue. Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful again, Marvita. Thank you very much for your
Well, as
time.
am I. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again for inviting me to do this. And yeah, I said what my experience is, and that's really, a credit to what your team has developed. And so I'm excited for you. I look forward to all of the rollouts. I'll be looking for them. And so, so yeah, I'm excited. Thank you again.
Thanks a lot, Marita.